Oduma get 3 boys. The 3 boys is big man where they have wife for house. All the 3 boys they disturb me to rape.
So when I got there, he started introducing me to prostitution. So when I go and he gives me runs, I go and come back. He takes his own share from the money.
What you see in Nigeria is that more than 95% actually migrate because of comparative or absolute economic reasons. So most people are actually looking for better employment opportunities, lack of livelihood opportunities in Nigeria, but as well as the pull factor.
We are law enforcement officers. And you will take this man away. When you get to my office, we explain things to us.
Who are you to take me? This is what I ask you. You told me no, you should come to me.
I am the zonal commander of NAPTE.
I don't understand.
If you don't understand, you will understand. Please take this man. Look here. Look. Take this man, take this computer.
Human trafficking, a form of modern-day slavery, involves the illegal trade of people for either forced labor or sexual exploitation, and in some cases, removal of organs or tissues, including surrogacy. Estimates released by the Global Slavery Index in 2018 indicate that there are 40 million victims of modern-day slavery worldwide, 71% of whom are women and girls, and 25% of which are children. Nigeria remains a source, transit, and destination country when it comes to human trafficking, and it is listed as one of the countries with the largest number of trafficking victims overseas, particularly in Europe.
Currently, there isn't any statistical data on the rate of human trafficking which occurs in Nigeria today. Most of the trafficked victims I spoke with say they were only trying to improve their economic fortunes, which later turns out to be more than what they expected.
This is the voice of a trafficked victim who sent a Save Our Soul message requesting for help to return to the country. She, like many others, found themselves entrapped in what turned out to be a nightmare, all in search for daily bread. Dupe, not her real name, also tells her tale of cruelty she experienced in the hands of her employers while working as a domestic servant in Lebanon.
I don't know that Lebanese don't collect money from agents for Lebanon. So that agent for Lebanon don't think that she don't buy me from Nigeria to Lebanon. I don't know. I reach Lebanon. I see they carry me from one house to another house. Later they carry me go the Oduma myself. I see the Oduma. The old man can't stand up for in bed. The old man she's wearing pampers. So everything we're supposed to they're supposed to give me to wearing to take Oduma. They didn't give me anything. I'm there. I'm only doing it. But the Oduma get 3 boys. The 3 boys is big man where they have wife for house. All the 3 boys they disturb me to rape. They'll just come meet me, hold me for back, press my breast, put mouth inside my mouth, and try to get my agent. No, I didn't get the line. My line where I used to WhatsApp, they didn't give me Wi-Fi. So I did there since sufferness. Okay. All my stomach, I don't get ulcer. Because if I work hard, I will chop bread They call them bread kobes. The bread is not our own bread. It's their own bread. It be like towing. She no get power at all. So I work hard. I didn't see food eat.
Although she was able to make it back home alive through the intervention of Nigeria's anti-human trafficking agency, NAPTIP, she says nothing will make her take such trips again, and says anyone thinking of making such moves need to take a step back.
If you see my enemy, I will beg them to. Don't leave Nigeria, go to any country. It's not only Lebanon. Me, I'm going to Lebanon, I've seen some things. It's not only Lebanon. All Arabic country, may anybody no go there. Start from Dubai. If you see help, they go help you come outside. If you see person wey go help you, na him go help you come outside. If you no see, you go die. So may anybody no go any country. May him just sit down for him papa land. They pray God. May God help him.
He told me he was a modeling agent.
Ufoma, not her real name, says she was forced into prostitution.
He will give me.
She was barely 15 when she ran away from home because she was constantly abused by her stepmother. She met a young man who promised her a job as a model, but it was far from what she imagined.
He told me he was a modeling agent, that I could come stay at his place and he would give me some ushering jobs. I asked him what was the meaning of ushering jobs. He said, like, I will go to party, I will work for them, I will wash plates for them, and they could pay me. So that was what I actually carried in mind. So when I got there, he started introducing me to prostitution. So when I go and he gives me runs, I go and come back. He takes his own share from the money. I couldn't say anything. And he also asked me to sleep with him. There was a certain time I was getting tired of having so many men on me. But I said, if I go to my father, it was the same life I ran out of. That's what I will still start. I said that wouldn't be a good idea. I thought of my mother's side. My father warned me never to mingle with my mother's families. So I was confused. Nobody to talk to. Nobody to advise me. Yes. I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Ufoma was rescued by the anti-human trafficking agency following one of its raids on some trafficking hideouts in Lagos. She is now staying in a shelter run by the agency. According to NAPTIP's 2016 report, 75% of those who are trafficked within Nigeria are trafficked across states. 23% are trafficked within states, while only 2% are trafficked outside Nigeria. And it is believed to be the third most common crime in Nigeria after drug trafficking and economic fraud.
Reportage has increased. People who were hitherto living in self-denial, who never really believed it's happening. Time was in this country when you come to some domain, they say, no, it doesn't happen in our area. But now they now see that the human trafficker succeeds to the extent that the next door neighbor is unaware what he or she is doing. Human trafficking is essentially fueled by deception by people who come out of their way to try to make profit of the labor of others.
What are the issues that usually concern migration of persons from Nigeria to other countries? What can you tell us about it?
Well, okay, so in general, we, at the moment, in the past couple of years, we have assisted more than 18,000 migrants back from Libya, but also other countries in the Central Mediterranean route as part of our migrant protection and assistance programming. And I think the main issues that you see in Nigeria is that more than 95% actually migrate because of comparative or absolute economic reasons. So most people are actually looking for better employment opportunities. Lack of livelihood opportunities in Nigeria, but as well as the pull factors. So, for example, what are the things that pull people to actually move to other countries? One of the pull factors is also the idea or the story about being able to find better employment abroad, including in Libya. So most people actually think that there are better opportunities elsewhere. And this is also due to the fact that they may know someone who's migrated before. They keep the success story alive, and so that kind of circulation of success stories keeps people from migrating again. And there are also a number of individual factors, obviously, that push people to migrate. Sometimes family members are involved, or people actually don't know what trafficking is or smuggling is, and so they're lured under false promises to find better employment or education or medical care in other countries.
The conspiracy of silence in the past helped the crime to thrive, because sometimes you have some of those traffickers threatening their victims not to say anything to anybody and not to also reveal their identity to anyone. So that makes it to try for some time. But now that people are summoning courage, they have seen one that summoned courage and something was done, more people are stepping out to say, look, we are in slavery here, help us.
Many Nigerians are unaware of the rate of human trafficking, and that is why the country's anti-human trafficking agency staged a raid and busted a suspected syndicate in Lagos, where they believe many unsuspecting Nigerians are trafficked into the United Arab Emirates.
Why? Listen to me. Why? We are law enforcement officers.
First
and
of all,
you will take this man away.
This suspected trafficking syndicate posed as a job recruiter, promising employment and other juicy offers like free visa and accommodation in Abu Dhabi. It was discovered that these unsuspecting Nigerians paid a sum of 15,000 naira registration fee
You are paid the 15,000.
as part of the requirements. I caught up with one of them who says he traveled all the way from Aba to Lagos, which is about 680 kilometers to the mega city, just to try his luck in getting the job offer.
I don't have money, but when I came there, they say I should deposit 15,000. Even I don't even have transport now to go back. I will make call for my people to send money for me before I go back where I come from, this part in Lagos. They just tell me they will pay where, so that they are going to pay like 500,000 for the work we are going to do there. So that's make me to be so interested. I already know what is on the ground there. So I say, let me come here. If something that genuine, I'll go. If not that it's not genuine, I will stay back in my country.
The Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, signed an executive order late last year. Trafficking in person, control of organizations and centers, Regulation 219. That regulation gave power to NAPTIP to vet recruitment agencies, Nigerians who are taking people abroad. We have to vet them. They have to register with us. We have to know what they are doing. We have to know the terms of engagement. We want to know whether there are lines for redress for Nigerians when they get there. This situation where people get there and they not hold their traveling documents, seize their passports, and they are helpless. We will not allow that.
And there are several other stories of innocent Nigerians who only end up falling prey to traffickers. And one major contributory factor to this societal challenge has been linked to poverty.
When you have no money, when you're surviving on less than $2 a day, trafficking becomes the only way that you think you can actually have a life and survive. And so families traffic their children, particularly girls. The average age of children trafficked is 15 in Nigeria. This is from NAPTIP itself. Greed. Greed is the reason why people are selling each other, selling their children, selling their loved ones, or even going out to buy people. It's a matter of greed. It's a business. It's an illegal business. It's a cartel. It's beyond you and I. But you've got poverty, you've got greed, you've got corruption, and then you just have a society where it's not, there's lack of cohesion in terms of where we're going with this subject.
Women are left to shoulder the load of 7 children. And the father is not there. He has gone to rear other families somewhere else. And so the children are left, the mother is left with these children, and as a mother, she wants the best for them. So if somebody comes during the end of the year, Easter, New Year, or they come flamboyantly dressed and they now say, Mama so and so, what are you doing? Where is this? You want to take one child? Let me take one now. You say, carry 3. When she takes those 3 away, she's going to traffic them most of the time. You see, most of these things, we know that when people are in trouble, they look for how to have a better way of life. But also, we tell Nigerians not to be too hasty and not to cooperate with the enemy. Because this man is not actually your friend. He has come to exploit you. He's targeting your labor. You want to help someone to go and play football, and the academy is not even well-known academy, and you are going to sign. And they take you to Greece, and the next thing they harvest your kidney. And if they become greedy, they take your liver and you die. Again, you are going to play, and your travel document is not the former one. You are going as an unexpected visitor in Greece. They don't even know you are coming. So how do you press charges against those who are exploiting you?
According to the Lagos State Command of NAPTIP, it has recorded 89 convictions since its inception in 2004, and says the victims are often encouraged to assist with the investigation and prosecution of traffickers.
You just saw me with one just now. They work on them to the extent that they become friends with us. It takes time, but we always succeed. We break down the wall because they come so afraid of the system. They hate any authority figure around them. So we know what to do to bring them on the same page with us, and eventually they now open up. Let me let you know that most of the time our investigation is always completed even at that side. Because at that level, when they now break down and they are not ready to talk, they will now tell you that, counselor, what I told is not the truth. This is the truth.
No single agency can do this alone. No single agency can fight crime alone. So we are all working towards making our country safe.
With the support of both local and international agencies, there are set-up shelters for the trafficking survivors and various skills training and economic support program. There is also a strong network of NGOs who also provide services to the trafficked survivors.
For these ones that come in, when NAPTIP brings them in, what happens is they come in for 6 months. Vocational training, they have the counseling, rehabilitation therapy within that 6 months, and they're able to, and they're quite fast, they're able to, because we realize that they're determined. With follow-up, because once they leave here, they go back to NAPTIP, and then NAPTIP, within the time they are here, the NAPTIP does they help with the investigations, trying to get their details, their data, and family. So within that time, they are doing their own work, and while we are doing the rehabilitation and the counseling sessions.
We have a comprehensive awareness raising program in place. So in terms of looking at the vulnerability of limited information, or understanding about the trafficking process, we implement what we call communication for development. So that means that community-based initiatives are designed by and for the community through a participatory approach. So we basically work with government actors, non-government actors, and also returnees to establish messages and tools to help inform them about irregular migration, trafficking, but also safe migration. And this could be community dialogue, for example, where community dialogue sessions are held in the community, to peer education, which is targeted at a lower age group, which is held at schools, but we also implement community theater and other awareness-raising initiatives.
But there are sure ways on how we can put a stop to human trafficking or modern-day slavery. Already, NAPTIP says human trafficking issues are now to be covered by the school curriculum, while it is also carrying out various enlightenment programs at different public places.
We are winning convictions. We are doing it, getting convictions, and now there's even a shaming list in the country now. This shaming list is to let people know that there are consequences for their actions. If you engage in all these things and we get to know about it, we'll criminalize you.
The first thing we need to do is make sure that we collect data. Without data, you cannot even begin to formulate policy, accurate policy, and you can't begin to find the solutions. So data is very valuable. Having a news conference is the very first start. Prosecuting is another start. Making sure that we desensitize our youth and our communities against human trafficking is very critical. I'm glad to hear that they're introducing human trafficking into the curriculum. I have not seen it done. I have not heard publicly that is actually being formalized, but I think it's important for us to know if we don't start by teaching the children right now the ills of human trafficking, of forced marriages, of irregular migration, we are in trouble as a nation.
We work in the area of governance and policy, awareness raising, protection and reintegration, and data. And in order for us to actually tackle trafficking, but also look at the root causes, as well as providing alternative options, it's important to look at the prevention component. So ensuring that migrants have enough information to make informed decisions, to know where they go, to be aware of these false success stories and so on. But to provide protection to those who need it most, to those who have been trafficked, vulnerable migrants, underage and separated migrant children, as well as those who have been kidnapped and so on. But also to work with partners to establish structures that allow for this referral to take place.
Report cases of human trafficking to NAPTIP. Please, Nigerians, trust NAPTIP with information. We are trained to handle confidential information. Trust us, give us information, and keep quiet. Don't expose yourself, because we will not expose you.
Every human being has a right to be free. Together with constant enlightenment and increased awareness on this crime against humanity, living in this world could be easier.